Okay, here we are, Matthew Russell Lee, Inner City Press, here at the Southern District of New York Courthouse. Today, Thursday, January 30th, 2025. Now, yesterday, as we promised, we did all three of the Menendez case sentencings, beginning with Fred Davies, a kind of a reflective allocution where he said, "I always thought I was a good person." He came off as the most or the only one somewhat contrite, and he received 7 years. The 97 months on Hannah, totally unrepentant. He said he used to believe in the U.S. justice system, but no more. How could this happen to him? Why his halal monopoly, he claimed, was in order to help keep a terrorist group or a human trafficking group out of the halal certification business in Egypt. It was a bit strange. And then the big one, Menendez himself. 2 p.m. he began, and in his allocution, he gave various examples of his good works. He really laid it all on the table, but he got 11 years from Judge Stein. Afterwards, in front of the courthouse, to which I'm quickly approaching, he said, "Trump was right. This is all lawfare." He didn't say lawfare. What did he say? Political witch hunt. So that was really something. Meanwhile, I mean, that's been sort of what Eric Adams has been saying in a sort of classier way, but all kinds of rumors circulating yesterday that Adams was either going to come in and plead guilty or have the case dropped. That's a Time story that they're exploring that. I guess we'll just have to see. What may have also sparked some of it was that Saccavino, one of the FDNY bribery defendants, did come in and plead guilty. So keep your eye on the Eric Adams docket. We've written the book City of Maybe, and everything is maybe about Mr. Eric Adams. Now, in the Sleaze beat, Sean Combs had moved to get some. The Sleaze beat really applies to the Alexanders in the first instance. Elon Alexander, of the three real estate brothers charged with gang rape, yes, has appealed to the Second Circuit. So we'll see when their hearing was going to be. It was going to be yesterday. It was postponed, and now they're asking for even more time, and they have appealed. Sean Combs was trying to get access to some video that only his lawyer can see, but this was a motion denied by Judge February without prejudice. He'll be back. He'll definitely be back. So that's the Sean Combs. Today, as we approach the courthouse, this is we're going to be hopefully live tweeting, certainly covering a civil case against Binance, the crypto firm Binance, for complicity or involvement or enabling, I would call it, of terrorism. It's an interesting case. There are cases like this against banks, but in this case it's going to be a case against Binance, and it's one that we've been following. And as it happens, it's today, January 30th, is the deadline for UNRWA, the UN agency. I'm sure there are many good people working there. I'm sure there are. I'm sure there are many, people. The problem is that the UN cannot repair itself. Rather than acknowledging that it's an outrage that some of their staff participated on October 7th and doing something about it, they pretty much said initially they were going to look into it, and then they were like, "We've done nothing wrong. Anyone that's wants to question our funding is outrageous and unhumanitarian." They just and then finally they just hid behind immunity. They've been sued down here, and you'd think they'd want to defend their good name, but of course they don't. They just say, "We're not amenable to suit. We return the complaint to you." They also say that on First Amendment grounds. So all of this has to change. The main reform that's needed is that the UN has to be held accountable. It doesn't necessarily. It has to be held accountable. That's a campaign crusade that will remain on. Also, transparency in the courts. But in any event, we are now approaching the courts. It's very different than yesterday. There are no photographers outside. Yesterday, it was jammed out here. And Bob spoke, and Bob said, "This is the Wild West of justice. This is a political witch hunt." Let's see. To be continued.